even try to fool me, 'cause I can see right through you. It's in your eyes, you are the devil in disguise.
Ah, 2015. You did have a whole lot of bad movies this year, and to my knowledge, I think this is pretty much the worst year for movies so far. Where movies we end up looking forward to become seismic scale disappointments, unnecessary sequels people never wanted end up sucking, and there are movies that have somewhat of a hidden message in the film that either doesn't make any sense or is just offensive in any way, shape, or form. Those are the movies that are on my list. The films like Jim and the Holograms and The Ridiculous Six aren't on the list because you already know they suck. No one was shocked or unaware that they sucked, so their terribleness doesn't make much of an impact for me. And does anyone need me to tell them that The Road Trip was a piece of garbage? No, they don't. I'm going to list down the films that I saw and was devastated by, and the films that no one can even imagine watching again. And also, these are the movies that I picked as the worst offenders of 2015. And if those movies you hated aren't on my list, well, it's because I could find movies worse than them, or I was just too lazy to put them in. Oh well. So let's get into the list, but first, what's a worse list without a few dishonorable mentions? Alright, here we go. Number 10, Unfriended. Here we have a horror movie about 6 friends, or as the movie wants us to think are friends, gathering around in a Skype chat that are being attacked by an apparition of their best friend that happened to commit suicide because of an online video of her getting bullied. Now this video sounds interesting, right? I mean, it was on paper, but as a movie, it's a horrendous pile of trash filled with unlikable characters you want to die, predictable non-scary jump scares, and the film itself sends a bad message about online bullying that comes off offensive. This is nothing more than a giant waste of time. Stay far from it. Number 9, The Visit. M. Night Shyamalan, the man who's known for being in everyone's top 10 worst lists, has come back once again to make another horrendously awful movie. But this time, it's found footage, bro! It's a found footage movie about grandparents going crazy and stuff. Surely this will be a good horror comedy. But no, this film is still a massive train wreck filled with unlikable characters, with a jumbled up screenplay, with a terrible climax combined with the most obvious twist on the planet, and not to mention that the sister's younger brother wants to be an aspiring white rapper. Yeah. This film sucked. Number 8, Pixels. Sandler. He just never learns, does he? Well, he will once he's in a good movie, but still, wherever he's doing needs to stop. I mean, he took a short film that was made by a talented person and got Chris Columbus and Happy Madison crew to make this turd. Yes, the jokes are not funny. Yes, everyone who was associated to this, Josh Gad, Peter Dinklage, Michelle Monaghan, Sean Bean, Brian Cox, deserve better than this. And yes, this film is a horrible mess. Number 7, Terminator Genesis. Terminator films just need to cease immediately. I mean, Terminator Salvation was okay and all, but after sitting through this movie, I think this film is pretty much the nail in the coffin for Terminator films. The plot is a pretentious, overcomplicated mess. The acting is bad, with the main bad performance being from Jai Courtney as Kyle Reese, mediocre CGI with the overabundance of fan service, and something that this film should have never done. Make it to where the first 2 movies never have happened. I mean, really, this film is not only a disservice to fans that love the Terminator movies, but is also a disservice to Terminator films in general. And they drag poor Arnold Schwarzenegger and J.K. Simmons into this. Number 6, 50 Shades of Grey. Not only is this film on the list because of a 30-minute long extended uncut rant I did back in February, it's on the list because it's terrible. The film is just like a modern retread of Twilight, which is funny because this film is actual fan fiction from Twilight, where the main character is insecure and is being stalked down by a 20-year-old billionaire who is an overprotective predator who doesn't do romance, even though for most of the movie he does nothing but romance. Their chemistry doesn't make any sense, and it's dull and lifeless and as boring as a game of chess. But hey, at least we won't get another sequel to this movie. Number 5, Hot Pursuit. Come on, let me think of something here. I got this. it's not funny. It's offensive. It has Reese Witherspoon and Sofia Vergara in it. Yeah, that's all I got. Number 4, Knock Knock. Hey guys, remember Death Game? You know, the movie this was based on? Yeah, it turns out it's made by the so-called future director of horror, Eli Roth, and it's unbearable to watch. Keanu Reeves is in this movie, who is only being attacked and harassed by these 2 girls that all they do is annoy the crap out of Keanu Reeves' character to death, with a plan that makes exactly 0 sense, and the motivation is very unclear as to why they're attacking him. The acting is terrible, and this is a movie that is filled with idiotic, unlikable people making idiotic decisions, and the result of that is getting knock knock. And also, your new favorite ringtone of the year is chocolate with sprinkles.
Chocolate with sprinkles.
Number 3, War Room. War Room is another one of those movies where Christians are trying to convey a message to everyone who is willing to watch the movies, like Mom's Night Out, which was offensive because of how it deals with postpartum depression, and like God's Not Dead, and how it deals with saying that as long as you're a Christian, you'll live a great life, and if you're an atheist, you'll be an abusive, selfish sociopath. For this film, it deals with the issues of divorce, and dear Lord, does this movie not do its job. This movie is not only terrible because of its message, it's terrible because it's a bad movie. The acting is terrible, the plot is all over the place, the situations the characters get themselves into would never happen in real life, and the film seriously has the biggest what just happened moment of the year. Listen to me as I say this because I am not going to give the whole thing away. Listen, it involves Liz and Miss Clara and a mugger. Just going to leave it to that, so let's move on. Number 2, Point Break. I wasn't lying when I said this is one of the worst remakes I've ever seen, was I? But in all seriousness, this film is every bit as bad as every other bad remake, where the original Point Break encapsulated the phenomenal chemistry between Keanu Reeves and Patrick Swayze, and contains incredible stunts, really good bank heists, memorable characters, and quotable lines you'll remember over and over again. This abomination contains none of the magic the original contained. Instead, it's just a remake just for putting Point Break on the title. The chemistry between Bodhi and Utah in this film is non-existent, the characters are not memorable, the acting was bland and lifeless, the script is nothing more than an abominable, hazardous Frankenstein's monster of a script, and the stunts are just performed by stuntmen, unlike the originals where the actors were skydiving. There's just nothing special about the stunts in any way, and as a movie lover and a guy who loved the original, this really pisses me off. Number 1, Fantastic Four. I, without question, hate this freaking movie. Not because of the fact that it's a superhero movie, it's because of the fact that I wanted this film to be good. I wanted this film to surprise me and blow me out of the water. I mean, look at this film. The only Fantastic Four movie that stands out from the rest of the 4 are the ones made by Roger Corman. And even that wasn't even that good of a movie, but at least it was put more effort into creating an actual movie than the Tim Story ones. I waited for this movie to be good, but until I got out of it, I was filled with nothing but sadness and pure, unadulterated rage. The acting was terrible, which is shocking because of the amount of good actors that are in this movie. The visual effects are as atrocious and as ugly looking as the amazing bulk CG. The characters are nothing but characters you would see in a YA novel. None of the Fantastic Four are likable. Dr. Doom, and yes, this chrome crash dummy is supposed to be Dr. freaking Doom, is nothing more than a fifth wheel in the Fantastic Four group because he has feelings for Sue Storm. And this movie is nothing more than just a build-up for more Fantastic Four movies. And the freaking dialogue. My high school writes plays with better dialogue than this movie. This film is nothing more than just the Amazing Spider-Man 2 syndrome all over again. This is hands down one of the worst superhero movies ever made, and perhaps one of the worst movies I have ever seen. And that is saying something right there. That was the worst movies of 2015. Until next time, I will do the best for last. My name is Luke Nukem, and you have been blown away.